There we go. Check, check. Okay. All right, sound's working now. Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? What's going on, Indiana? Just started live. We'll let it go through. Yeah, I was just live, and I couldn't get my sound to work, so I just restarted. My issue is... Yeah, I know it's working. I could see that it wasn't working. I was just trying to fix it. My issue is I have a lot of software on my computer. I have Discord, Streamlabs, OBS, TikTok, Live Studio, like you name it. And they all want to they're all trying to be the main audio channel or the main video channel. So if every single one of those isn't closed out, then I can't get my audio to register while I'm streaming. So it's just, there's just a lot going on my computer all the time. And I just have to make sure to close a bunch of applications before I start streaming, or else I can't get the audio to register. No, listen, Carla, I'm upset about the Eagles winning, even though I live in Philly. I tried to tell them they didn't want to listen. Almost at 100K. I am almost at 100K. Maybe I'll hit it tonight, maybe not, but we'll try. We're gonna go over a lot of stuff in here. We're gonna get into it. Megan and Britt, I appreciate you guys. Solar, what's going on? Possible snow in Southern Kentucky tonight. Let's pull up our HRRR. Let's pull up our HRRR. Oops, I want to get this here. Sorry, 1 second. We'll take a look at a lot of stuff here. We can take a look at that Kentucky. We can look at our radar right now. Really, what's going on our radar? You guys do have under a winter driving conditions, winter weather advisory. We can see, if we go to winter weather on that southern radar, nothing is registering as snow right now. It's just rain, but you could get some light snow potentially down there into Kentucky. We'll look really quickly at our HRRR, see what's going on with that. But then I want to quickly go through what we're seeing moving forward. Yeah, probably just rain. Here's our latest HRRR. And it gives you a possibility for some snow. This is going to be high elevation snow through Appalachia. Very likely. We've got some good snow and rain moving really from SoCal into southern Nevada, into Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico over the next 48 hours. So high wind in New York tomorrow. Let's see, what are our wind gusts looking like on our HRRR? Yeah, we can get some high wind late tomorrow into the evening time, pushing across the entire northeast region. We've got a trough moving through. That's all, or if you want to call it a cold front, right here. This is going to be sweeping in with very cold air behind it. This is our last really chill, and then we're going to warm up over here for a while. Yeah, some pretty good winds. Some pretty good winds. You can see the gusts associated with that. Want to get up to, in some areas, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Pretty gusty conditions. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at our updates. We'll just go to our, since we can see the farthest on here, let's just go to our 18Z GFS, see what are we looking like. And here we go. So here's our GFS. We obviously have some moisture moving through the south. No severe weather down there, just some rainfall. As we move forward in time, here we go. Significant trough as we move into Tuesday. Diving into the northeast and the mid-Atlantic right here. We're going to have some clipper systems. 1, 2, or 3 clipper systems moving through here. We're going to get snow in these areas. It's probably going to stay off the coastal, though. Coastal mid-Atlantic and coastal New England. But we're going to get, you could see some good snow from this in Boston on Wednesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday, we could see some good snowfall into Boston. What does our latest GFS think snowfall-wise? Our GFS is thinking potentially a few inches into Boston, and then another clipper that wants to skirt over here, dropping, so over the next, we'll say 5 days, dropping close to 5-6 inches into Boston. This is an interesting little clipper here. I actually want to look at our euro for this because our euro is going to be more accurate. So here's our euro. Let's just push our euro through its 5-day forecast here. You can literally see where our trough is running right here, where our clippers are moving in. This is not a big snowstorm. This is just cold air and a good snow ratio. And again, euro likes 3 to 4 inches into Boston. Some heavy snowfall across all of upstate New York. When I say heavy, I mean, we'll say 3 to 6 inches. But obviously the Watertown area is has just been saturated with snow from lake effect. And then probably some good snow up in coastal New England. Yeah, coastal New England as well. So probably going to stay out of Long Island, out of Jersey, out of Philly, out of this area down here where everyone wants the snow. It's going to stay just to our north. You can see what's happening down here in our euro over the next 5 days as well, and up in the Pacific Northwest. High elevation snow. This is all pretty much going to be, most of it's going to be elevation snow. This is a low pressure producing its own cold air. It's detached from our main trough of cold air, which is up here to the northeast. Quickly, here is our CPC outlook, temperature outlook from February 1st to February 5th. Take a screenshot of that in your brain. I'm going to get to answering all the questions here in a second. I just want to show you guys what's going on. Listen, I live in Philly, but I hate the Eagles. I'm a Giants fan who lives in Philly, so I'm salty that they got Saquon and now they're going to the Super Bowl. It's a tough time to be me. What's up for the Cape? The Cape may see some snow because from these clipper systems moving through, actually. 8 to 10 inches Saturday and Sunday. That's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Not impossible. I'll give you a 20% chance of seeing that much snow. I'll give you a 20% chance of seeing more than 4 inches. Not impossible, but that should, yeah. There are apps go again talking crazy. Anyways, so here is our outlook temperature wise from the 1st of February to the 5th, and then from the 3rd to the 9th. You guys notice anything? Big shift in the warm air out here. You know what's also going to be associated with this warm air? Severe weather, specifically through this region. We're going to be watching ice. Weird mixing stuff happening through this region where we're having our temperatures clashing. You can literally see where our jet stream is going to be set up, guys. Ready? Look at how this is. Look at how this is in this time frame. Let's go look at our GFS. Let's go take a look at our jet stream. Here you go. This is exactly how the jet stream works. Ready? Look at the jet stream. Ready? Notice that. This is hot air being pulled up. This is cold air being pulled down. There's our jet stream. Look at that. And then look at this. It's literally, that's think about it as strong winds blowing through here at the mid layers of our atmosphere, separating, bringing down cold air on the top of these winds and bringing up warm air beneath. Severe weather. We're going to have well below average temperatures up here. And where's our storm track likely to be? We're going to get some storms pulling in up here. And we're likely going to get some winter storms pulling up here. Okay, so I'd say our targets for snow are going to be through here. And I think our Pacific Northwest is going to be pretty good. But there's just going to be a bunch of snow out west. You can see here, if we just go to our latest GFS and we just, go into La La Land with our Kuchera model of snow moving forward. Look at where our snowpack's going to be. We talked about this last live. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. You do get the GFS does see potential for a little bit, some of the snow to come a little bit farther south, but you can see here's our main pocket of snow now, whereas before we were seeing more out here. And our Euro's pretty on board with that. I actually haven't looked at this entire GFS run yet, so I'll look at it with you guys. Nothing's really changed through here. Again, here's our first severe weather event. This right here, to me, is going to be the scariest thing with this, is going to be the flash flooding. We could see some seriously significant precipitation rates with this here, and you could get some heavy downpours. I do think we're going to get some rainfall out ahead of our squall line and out ahead of our instability is going to be through here. It does look like we'll get a little bit of rainfall out ahead of it. What does that do? That cools the mid to lower levels of the atmosphere, meaning by the time our low-level jet really starts to kick in and we would typically see the most instability, we're going to have rain-cooled air out ahead of it. This is hopefully going to help to tame our tornado threat. I still think we're probably going to get a couple spin-ups out of this, but you see how this starts to rain right down here? It's really a mess. Lots of rainfall out ahead of this system. Okay, and that's not when our tornado threat starts. Our tornado threat really starts here when our low-level jet starts to kick in. This is going to be a lot of rain-cooled air out ahead of it. This could really help to tame our tornado threat. But what we have to watch is this is extremely heavy downpours, and we're going to probably see flash flooding through portion areas affected by some of this rainfall, especially through this region right here. So anyways, this latest GFS does want to put a pretty good squall line of snow into Chicago, into Detroit, and potentially up through Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. So we'll see. This is. I don't know if we have agreement on the Euro with this, but we'll look in a second. I could see this happening, so that's something to watch. Now, right after that happens, we're really gonna be shifting into our positive EPO, and we're gonna see that jet stream shift, and we're gonna start seeing all that snow out here, and that severe weather threat down here. That's gonna be around the 4th of February, and you can really see what starts happening out west, guys. Lots of cold air. Look at snowstorm after snowstorm that starts lining up out west. So. And again, this is the severe weather threat right here as we move into the 7th and 8th time frame, really the 6th through the 8th. This is a big concern. This, we're not going to, at least the way it looks on our future radar right now, and we have model agreement. This is really far out. I usually wouldn't care. We have some good model consensus, and the way it looks right now is we're not going to have a bunch of rain-cooled air ahead of it. We're going to have a lot of lift. This is a pretty good temperature gradient right here. We're going to have a lot of lift out ahead of this front. And we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna have a lot of humidity. We're gonna have a lot of available energy for convection, and this is gonna be a lot of unstable air. The shear is gonna be good, and the lift's gonna be good out ahead of this front. So this is a dangerous looking setup for tornadoes as we get into the 6th through the 8th time period down here in the south. So serious watch here. Again, this is when we could see this Arctic blast, and we could potentially see some snow back down into Texas. We'll have to watch. This latest GFS has pulled back from the cold air dipping down into the Gulf area, which is kind of what I expected. Our original run had this thing much farther south. It's pulling up, and I think that's how it's going to stay. We'll see what our Euro does tonight. All right, let me get to chat. It's like a 20-second lag on YouTube compared to TikTok. That's so weird. My ADHD can't handle how fast the chat goes on TikTok. I know. Kelly, Laddie, I appreciate you guys. And thank you for the follows, guys. I think I'm 900, something like 900 followers away from 100K. So if anyone wants to give me a follow, I'll love you forever. I'm excited to hit 100K. I've been putting in the work, guys. Let's see here. Reckon the weather might stabilize before it gets to Alabama. Yeah, you know, with this first event, I think it will. With this first event, you could get some not so great weather potentially into western Alabama. You can see what it wants to do here. Your squall line really wants to start to break apart here. So if we do have rain-cooled air out ahead of this system, then you're really just going to be watching to see if we get QLCS tornadoes, which is quasi-linear convective system. So they're tornadoes that line up in a squall line, and they're just associated with the lift ahead of the squall line. And I don't think we're going to see many QLCS tornadoes if we start to see a squall line break down like that. And if we have some rain-cooled air, there's not going to be as much shear out here. Let's just say that. You're not going to have rain-cooled air, but you're not going to have as much shear out here. Your instability's back here. So, but it's you're probably going to see a slight, I would say, potentially an enhanced to slight risk over your area still. So it's we still need to watch it. There's going to be some potential for some bad weather in Alabama. This is the one I'm worried about for Alabama, though. And really for the South. That's a little bit farther, though. We have time to see how that adjusts, you know? Megs, I appreciate you. I definitely prefer watching you more than actual weather person. Appreciate that, JS. How's Tennessee looking? Again, your cool air, you've got a little bit more cool air here over the next, 24 hours. Associate all these red lines here, guys. These are your isobar lines. Okay? This is all, where you see all these red isobar lines, this is typically associated with above average temperatures. And where you see those blue lines up there, that's typically associated below average temperatures. That's your troughing. This is more of your ridging. Look at this zonal flow that sets up. Okay? We have our jet stream really just moving like this. Everything up here is below average. Everyone down here, when this sets up, as we just move forward into this next weekend, is above average. Now, as soon as we get this cold air dipping back into the west, right here, as we get into the 6th and 7th time frame, this starts to dig. Now you have warm, moist air from the Gulf digging into dry, cold air from the northwest. Boom. That's when you get a very severe threat down here in the south. And we're going to see this persist, I think, through the second week of February until, like I said, I think we're going to see a return to cold and winter weather back in the south and east. Well, but I'll get back into that in a little bit. I talked about that in my video. Was it this morning? Bree said, oh, great, where I live. Yeah. You're used to it if you're down there, though. Detroit looks like, let's look at what our Euro thinks, okay? Because the GFS likes a decent amount of snow in Detroit coming up here. Does our Euro see the same type of look? Sorry, my son's crying. He's getting put to bed. See, the Euro, unlike the GFS, thinks your warm air is a little bit farther to the north, meaning this is going to be a rainstorm for Chicago and a rainstorm for rain showers for Detroit. Your GFS disagrees. Your GFS thinks we're going to have cool enough air up there, and look at this. It would want to put some snow into Detroit. How much? Probably a decent amount. 5 to 6 inches. I have to take the Euro side on this. The Euro knows what it's doing at this latitude. At this latitude, really, from here and north, this is the Euro's territory. This is where our Euro model performs very well. Down here is where our GFS model performs very well. Why? Because it does better with tropical moisture. There's no tropical moisture up here. It doesn't know what to do. The Euro does really good at the mid-latitudes, especially with cold air troughing and snow. So I'd have to take the Euro side. But that being said, there's, if the GFS is seeing it, there's a chance. We can also take a look at what our Canadian thinks with that system. And look what our Canadian does. I mean, our Canadian dumps 10 inches of snow into Detroit. Again, I still think our Euro is our best model. What does our Icon see? Our Icon agrees with the Euro. So, and I think our Icon and Euro are probably the best. So there's a chance for you, Detroit. And that would be, if it were to happen, that would be this upcoming weekend. So we'll watch and see if it favors the GFS, which I'd give it a 20 to 30% chance of doing. Pennsylvania going to see snow in February? I do think so. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Pennsylvania's going to see snow in like 24 hours. like, you know, if you're talking about southeastern PA, I mean, look at all the snow PA's getting. Right here, you've got Clipper. If you're talking about like where most people live in PA, like Philly, mid to late February, guys. We were talking about this. MJO. We'll go here first, and then we'll go MJO Euro forecast. I want to show you guys. This is what we were talking about here. So here is our MJO. Okay. Ooh, look at this. We are pretty much entering phase 7 of the MJO. Here is where we are. We are pretty much entering phase 7 of the MJO. Phase 7 of the MJO is associated with, here you go. Let's, I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Phase 7 of the MJO is associated with a big warm-up out east. And would you look at that? It's almost like the CPC understands that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. But these phases, guys, on average, only last a couple weeks. And what happens after phase 7 typically with the MJO, with the teleconnection setup that we have too? See that? Big chill in the east. When could this be? Third, fourth week of February going into March. We have an AO right now that's holding positive. What does this mean? It's building up a ton of cold air in the Arctic. And if that slips at the same time, we push into our phase 8 MJO and our EPO slams negative. Oh, would you look at that, guys? Oh. Listen, it might not play out like this. These are forecasts. These are teleconnection and MJO forecasts. But I have an understanding of this stuff, and the way our MJO and teleconnections are being forecast and outlooked, it is favoring a shift back. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I can be wrong here, but I'm telling it's 100% accurate that our forecasts in the MJO and teleconnections are favoring a big shift in winter weather back to the south and east as we get late into February and early into March. Some of our biggest snowstorms in history out east happened in late February and March, like the 93 snowstorm that dropped 2 feet across the entire country out here. That happened in March. So is that going to happen? No, I don't think we're going to get a 93 snowstorm. All I'm saying is it's an interesting look. And guys, you can see what happens in phase 1 too, which would be pushing into March. Look at phase 1 up here. We go from phase 8 to phase 1. Look at phase 1. Cold out east again. So that would be maybe pushing into March. So again, people ask me consistently, are we done with winter in the south and east? And there's your answer. I want to actually give you, I don't want to just make you think that I'm just like pulling stuff out of my ass. Sorry if there's kids in here. But we're looking at stuff. I'm looking at stuff that's making me think we're not done with winter weather potentially in the south and east. So, but we are going to warm up for a couple weeks here, and we are going to experience some very severe weather. So, but it doesn't look like that's here to last. Looks like winter's coming back. Hopefully the West gets a good amount of snow into a lot of these places that haven't seen it. We're going to have some shots of snow into the Northwest. We're going to have some shots of snow. It looks like probably into the Central Plains. I think Nebraska, Iowa, up in Wisconsin, you're going to get in on some action. So hopefully we get you some snow, and then we're probably going to see a shift back east. But we'll see. These are outlooks, not guaranteed, but it's favorable. It's more likely than not that's going to be the shift. We'll have to see if there's any disruptions or any pullback from that moving forwards. Washington State snow, yeah, I mean, you guys are projected to get, you've got some troughing moving in here right around December or January 31st into February 1st. And right here looks like low elevation snow. This looks like snow in Seattle in the beginning. I know you guys are really want snow in Seattle, Portland, low-lying areas near the coast. This right here is snow into Seattle. As we get into February 2nd, 3rd, potential snow into Seattle. You're going to have some major troughing while we have precipitation, and that's going to put temperatures, likely surface temperatures, cold enough to get snow accumulation. So Seattle, that might be your final chance. I am going to make a 100K video. Yeah, guys, I'm like 800 followers away from 100K. I'm going to I'm gonna put a lot of work into a good 100K video. I'm excited. I'm really excited. This is like I said earlier. I made a post. For those of you who don't know, I don't know how personal I want to get right now. I lost my mom about 5 months ago. Maybe it was longer. Time's weird since she's been gone. Last September. I'd gone to school for meteorology and it was my passion. She really wanted me to get back involved with it. It's all I talked to her about. I studied it for a very long time. And she kept asking me to create a page, create a YouTube, create a TikTok, do something with it. And so in September, I created my TikTok and I started posting weather stuff in September. And she passed away a couple weeks after I started it when I had a few hundred followers. And I guess I got a lot of motivation. And I posted every day and I streamed every day. I've been doing it for like 4 months. And very happy. I just wish she saw what I was doing. So, but I think she'd be very proud. So, she knows this is what I love, and I'm just very thankful for the opportunity that people have been giving me, being in my lives, and it's really, really something special for me. So, anyways, enough of that. But thank you guys. A lot of people don't understand when I tell you how much it means to me. You guys being in here and the support and the positivity. This is a lot deeper for me than just having fun on TikTok or YouTube and talking about the weather. It's been my passion. It's something she begged me to get back into. And when I finally did, she's not here to see it, but I think she does. I think she is. I think she knows. So anyways, that's kind of what's a little bit behind this. So thank you guys. I see all your kind words. Thank you. Okay. We're going to get back into this, but yeah, it's special. It's very special. And I appreciate you guys. Daily, Jason, Ash, Kyle, Megs, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. What's the score of the Bills game? Really quick, I need an update on that. We're getting back to weather. What's the score of the Bills game? Let's see. Oh, wow. They just took the lead at the end of the third. Okay, it's a good game. All right, let's see. What about Central Arizona this week? Love everything you bring, brother. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, again, here's what we're gonna go with the Euro on. We're gonna go with the Euro right now, even though the GFS can do pretty good down there. Again, we're expecting. I think we're gonna get some low elevation snow into AZ and into New Mexico, but like I've been talking about, guys. This is not associated, and I appreciate all your kind words, guys. Thank you. Like I've been saying, this what's weird about this storm down here in the Southwest, guys, is it's completely detached from a cold air trough. Typically, you're going to see your snow somewhere attached to these blue isobars up here. This is your freezing air. Look at this. You have hot air surrounding this snowstorm down here. That's because it's just a very strong low pressure that's producing its own cold air. Is it going to produce enough cold air to drop that snow into low elevation New Mexico and Arizona? That's tough. I'll zoom in there really quickly, though, because that's kind of our next event that's happening here. Let's really quickly get in here, go to HRRR, and here we go. Look at this thing churning. Let's see, because we're getting close for our HRRR. Let's look at our Kuchera. Here we go. I mean, these are some decent snow totals pretty far south into Arizona. So, and then let's move over to... You can see now a lot of this again, though. This isn't a big, bulky pocket of snow moving across. These are like isolated snow showers that are moving through. So I think some of this will be low elevation, but you're gonna have some like you can see right here. You're gonna have some pockets that just miss. So moving over into, let's go take a look at New Mexico. We're going to see the same type of thing here. I have to go into my NAM to look at New Mexico. Let's push over into the NAM real quick. And we'll go to our 18Z. New Mexico, same thing. We may get a little bit more snowfall in New Mexico because this is where our moisture is being pulled right here from the Gulf with this system. So we may get a little bit more snow. into New Mexico. Originally, the GFS had this snow down here and like through here, but we've known that's just without a cold air trough down here, and with just a low that's producing its own cold air. This is probably more accurate. I would pull these totals back a little bit. I don't think we're gonna get 20 something inches into here, but we're gonna get some good snowfall in both central to northern Arizona and New Mexico. Really over the next 72 hours. Western Washington, yep. You can see. Well, here let's go into our GFS. There's some model consensus of some good troughing and snow moving into Western Washington. When does the heaviest snowfall start in the mountains? Into next weekend. When could we potentially see low elevation snow? Pushing into the 2nd and 3rd of February. There's some model agreement on that. Pushing into the 2nd and 3rd of February. Maybe we get some low elevation snow into Seattle and Portland. Finally. Vegas, yeah, there's snow that wants to fall around Vegas. I think you're going to be a little bit too warm for snow in Vegas, but we'll see. I think you're going to be a little bit too warm. Is it going to hit Georgia? Well, we're not expecting any of this snow into Georgia. We're expecting severe weather into Georgia. The weather app is calling for 15 inches in Mass on Sunday and Saturday. True or not? I'm going to tell you, Ryan, not true. And I'll explain that in a second. Hurricane season will probably be wild. Yeah, we're going to be probably Enzo neutral or weak La Nina. When you're in an Enzo neutral or you're in a weak La Nina, you guys know what happens? Let me explain. I don't know if you guys remember the 2004 to 2009 hurricane season down here where you had, I can even draw these hurricanes out. You had Katrina that went like this. You had Charlie that went like this. You had Francis that went like this. You had Gene that did a loop-de-loop, went like this. You had Wilma that went like this. I mean, you had Ivan. 2004 to 2009 was insane. What did all those years have in common? And that was the most active 4 or 5 year span of hurricanes that we've had in 100 years. What was happening? What happened during all those years? We had waters in the eastern equatorial Pacific. This is what causes our Enzo to shift. That were about average to slightly below average. So they were between about 0.0 degrees Celsius to about negative 0.7 degrees Celsius below average. That is a Enzo neutral and weak La Nina. Why is that important? When you're not in an El Nino, when you're in an Enzo neutral to weak La Nina, your jet stream down here weakens. And instead of blowing across the Gulf and blowing across the Caribbean, it starts to turn into what's called a meridional trough. And it starts to weaken and push north. What does that do? Well, instead of having tons of wind shear breaking up hurricanes through here, there's none. And so hurricanes or cyclones enter these waters, and there's really nothing to stop them from spinning up. There's nothing to stop them from strengthening. You've got the Caribbean and Gulf are some of the 2 warmest pockets of water on planet Earth. And if you don't have any wind shear crossing these waters, all you got is open sea ahead of you, that's an issue. Enzo neutrals and weak La Ninas can really create some issues for our Gulf states in hurricane season. So something that we're going to have to watch out for moving forward. Last hurricane season would have been much worse, but there was a lot of Saharan dust out here that wasn't projected in the beginning of hurricane season, and it created a lot of dry air, and that's what luckily made the first half of hurricane season slow. The second half cranked up. Why did the second half crank up? Well, we were Enzo neutral, and we didn't have enough shear across the Gulf and the Caribbean, and we're still going to be there next year. Okay, so you guys want to talk about February 13th? Yeah, it's impossible to predict what's going to happen on February 13th. So everyone's talking about all the snow out in Mass. I'm trying to think, what model are they looking at? They're probably looking at the 18Z of the GFS. What does the 18Z of the GFS show up in Mass? Maryland now through early February. I wouldn't expect really any snow except for maybe a dusting. But you're gonna start to have a decent warm up in the next 5-6 days. Okay, so here is what. So everyone's been asking what about. I've been seeing about Mass, and the GFS thinks maybe portions of Massachusetts get up to 7 inches of snow. What does the European think? I don't know what you guys are looking at, unless it's looking at the 12Z Euro. I don't know. There's nothing that shows. Look, Look at the 12Z Euro here, guys. We're not going to entertain this too much right now, but I don't know where you guys are getting this like foot to 14 inches. I don't know what model they're pulling from. I don't know where that's coming, where that information is coming from. My weather app says that New York City area could get 10 inches of snow Friday through Sunday. Do I agree? No, I completely disagree. They're looking at, yeah, no. Is it? And it's not impossible. We have systems that want to skirt through, but likely New York City is going to be in the mixing or rain side. And if it does see snow, you're not going to have a good snow ratio. We don't have major troughing dipping, so very unlikely that you're going to. You might not even get snow. So I'm not going to say that you're going to get 10 inches of snow. My preferred outcome was Lions Bills. I just want the Eagles to lose. I know I live in Philly, but I'm not an Eagles fan. But the weather app, Ryan, is pulling from one of these models, and I don't know what model. It's acting crazy. Yeah, the weather app was calling for 15 inches in Mass on Sunday. It's crazy. Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, you guys are probably going to end up with mixing or rain with this system that we're about to have move through here. It does look like that snow is going to be too far to the north and west. Remember, guys, we talked about this like 3 days ago when the GFS had the snow down here. We said, nah, it's going to shift up towards the Euro. And it did. Shifted up towards the Euro. Is it true that due to climate change, we will get more La Niñas versus El Niños? No, climate change. Well, no. If you wanted to argue that, climate change would actually give you more El Niños, not La Niñas. Because if you're arguing climate change, that would mean, well, the globe, whether you believe in climate change or not, the Earth is warming. We're coming out of an ice age. We're in an interglacial period, so the Earth's warming. But the argument with climate change is the global temperatures. We're speeding up we're speeding up the global temperature increase. So our global temperature is rising, but the humans are speeding it up basically to an unnatural pace. That would create more El Niños because El Niños are associated with above average temperatures. Once your waters in the eastern equatorial Pacific reach 0.5 degrees Celsius above average or more, you enter an El Niño. So no, it would cause a lot more El Niños. But waters, our air is warming up a little bit. Oceans lag so far behind. That's probably not something to worry about. Serious water temperature changes for quite a while. So I don't think we got to worry about crazy Enzo shifts quite yet. No problem, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's just crazy. Someone asked me that yesterday too. They were talking about big heavy snow up there, and I'm like, here's the GFS does show a kind of a monster snowstorm here. That was the 12Z. The 18Z pulled away. Still shows that snow, but it's a lot less threatening looking there. So no global warming, invest in green energy. All right, we're not going to get into that. Who cares about the weather? Duck season ended today. Oh, man. Eastern Iowa. Again, you're going to be in a very active location. You're probably going to have severe weather to your southeast, and you're probably going to have a decent amount of snow falling up to your northwest. This would be a big snowstorm for Eastern Iowa. It's too far out to take that seriously. We'll see what our Euro says if we have some consensus on that. I do think with this severe weather outbreak type of radar is going to happen. This is going to be a good chance for Eastern Iowa here. The winter storm before it, you might end up getting some ice or mixing.